welcome to Arth IAS. Dear aspirants, I hope that you are preparing diligently for upcoming Prelims 2026. And to simplify your journey of UPSC Civil Services examination, I am going to share the strategy of how to study modern Indian history from Spectrum book. And as you know that this is a very good book, especially from Prelims perspective. And here I will tell you that how to study this book, means which are the core chapters, core areas, which are the second priority areas, and which chapters or areas are optional. So let's see one by one. So here I have categorized the chapters in three categories, right? First is red category, and here you have to invest your means 70 to 80% question comes from these categories, these chapters. I will tell you which are those chapters. Then blue category, here it is also very important, and mostly 15 to 20% question comes from these chapters, right? And lastly green category, here it is low priority area. So here it requires selective reading. So let's see first which are the or which is the red category. So under red category, as I said, that 70 to 80% of questions come from these chapters. So you have to be very selective, and I have mentioned the name of chapters, their topics, subtopics, and you have to study in the same manner that I am telling you, right? So first, as I said, that spend your 60 to 70% of your time here and read 3 to 4 times the chapters, right? See these chapters, you will find that obviously, right? And as I said that pyqs are very important, so go and solve pyqs and see that mostly 70 to 80% question comes from these chapters. So invest your time 60 to 70% of your time and read these chapters 3 to 4 times, at least 3 to 4 times before prelims, right? Now, and then you can make crisp notes. Crisp notes means one page note, right? And avoid full sentences, right? I'll make a separate video for how to make notes, right? So here first chapter is chapter number 6, right? And here name is people's resistance against British before 1857. Again this chapter is very important, right? This chapter talks about the resistance, right, or uprisings before 1857. Then comes chapter 7. Here, obviously, most important chapter, Revolt of 1857. This chapter is very important. And here, causes, natures, consequences, key leaders from different regions are very important, right? And mostly this chapter, right, or questions comes from this chapter. And to verify, you can solve PYQs. You can see PYQs. Next important chapter, chapter 8 and 9 combinedly. It is related to socio-religious reform movements. So Arya Samaj, Brahma Samaj, right, RK Mission, Theosophical Society, all these chapters, all these topics are very important, and especially the name of these organizations, their founders, right, their members, and their activities are very important. Then comes chapter 10 to 12, right, 10, 11, 12, right? So here Indian National Congress, obviously. So Indian National Congress, one of the most important topic from modern Indian history, right? And here foundation of Indian National Congress, moderates, extremists, Surat split. Apart from that, here you will focus on the sessions of Congress, the president of Congress, the incident or the key terms or any key incident that took place during Indian National Congress session. That is very important. Then comes chapter 13, 14 and 15, right? So here again very important topic, Swadeshi and boycott movement, right? Separation of Bengal, right, before Gandhi, home rule movement and Lucknow pact. These topics are very important, and these topics are often repeated even by UPSC, right? So again chapter 16, 17, 18. So here Gandhian era, obviously Gandhi in modern Indian history, one of the most important personality is Gandhi. Right? If you are skipping Gandhi or topics related to Gandhi, trust me, it is a blunder. So again, chapter 16 to 18 related to Gandhian era. And here, Champaran Satyagraha, Kheda, Ahmedabad mill strike, all these are very important. Right? Where did first civil disobedience movement took place? Where or which was the first hunger strike of Mahatma Gandhi? Right? So such type of questions or multiple options are given. Next, Jallianwala Bagh, Khilafat and non-cooperation movement, also very important. Now coming towards next, again chapter 22 to 24, very important. Why? Here, revolutionary activities, mostly the organizations, their founders, their members, their activities, right? Killings, attacks are very important, right? So here, Hindustan Socialist Republic Association, obviously, and their revolutionaries, for example, Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, right? Other revolutionaries are very important. Revolutionaries from Bengal are very important. Bhagat Singh, Surya Sen, already I have told you. 1930s phase, right? And during that phase, what? The Government of India Act 1935. Also, it is a part of Indian polity, right? Next, chapter 25 to 27. So here again, topics like Quit India movement, Indian National Army and Subhash Chandra Bose, very important, right? Cabinet mission, Mountbatten plan, partition and independence. These topics are again very important, and these are mostly, these topics are repeated, though questions are not repeated but topics are repeated. So be very specific with these chapters, right? Revise them again and again, at least as I said, at least 3 to 4 times before prelims, right? Now, important appendixes or that is given at the end of this book, right? So here you will focus on governor generals, viceroys, right? And certain incident that took place during their tenure, that is very important. Apart from that, Indian National Congress, as I said, and their sessions, presidents, right? And events that took place in particular session, that is very important. Now again, other topics like famous trials of certain revolutionaries are very important. Socio-religious movements, right? Tribal movements, caste or peasant movements, these movements are very important, right? Again, focus on also on tribal movements, right? Whether it is in eastern part of India or southern part of India or western part of India or central part of India. Lastly, newspaper and journals are also very important, especially, right? So you must be knowing that certain revolutionaries, including Mahatma Gandhi, both leader of or extremist leaders and moderate leaders, also published certain leaders, certain newspapers, right? Certain magazines, certain weekly magazines, right? So such newspapers or magazines are or journals are very important. Again, constitutional development also very important. Certain acts, regulating act, right? Charter acts, Indian Council acts, Government of India acts, certain acts are very important. And this is also, this topic also overlaps with Indian polity. Actually, the end of modern Indian history is the beginning of Indian polity, right? Now second priority areas, so blue categories. So here again, these chapters are very important. So here you have to, as I said, that 15 to 20% question comes from these chapters. So here you can study from chapter 1 to 5. So here, advent of Europeans, British conquest. So Europeans all, whether it is British, Dutch, French, right, or Portuguese. So all, advent of all the Europeans, starting from Portuguese, right? British conquests and certain wars like Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, right? Certain alliances, right? Certain doctrines, subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse, right? And other even reforms. Clear? Then comes chapter 28, 29 and 30. So here economic impacts of British rule, and this topic also overlaps with your economy related topic, right? Again, land revenue system, for example, Mahalwadi system, right? Riotwadi system, drains of wealth theory, obviously given by Dadabhai Naoroji, right? Next, chapter 31 to 33. So here, development of civil services, education under British, press and railways. Again, this is very important. So mostly here you will focus on governor generals and these incidents, right, or events that took place there during their tenure. Clear? Then comes chapter 34 to 36. Here, focus on tribal and peasant movements, right, after 1857 till 1947, right? So, and lastly, chapter 38, 7, 38, 39. So here you will focus on communalism, Muslim League and two nation theory. So this was all about the very important chapters from blue category, right? So note these chapters and study in the same manner that I have told you. Then at last we will see the least priority areas, green areas, right, or green category. So here it demands selective reading, very selective reading, especially post 1947 chapters, means history that is related to or after 1947. Though question may be framed, as syllabus also mentions, India since independence, right? So very few question comes, but you cannot skip these chapters. But these are low priority areas. Quite clear? So, and these are very detailed administrative chapters, and until and unless you love it, you can skip it. Right? This topic is also important from your means perspective. Apart from that, minor personalities, movements not listed above, that we have not discussed. Such movements or personalities, you can just have a quick look. Quite clear? So, we have discussed the first, the red category, 70 to 80% question comes from these topics, and these are the most important chapters. Apart from that, these are the most important facts, right? And revise them again and again, at least 3 to 4 times. Only then you will be able to retain them. Then we discussed the blue categories, right? Though very important chapters, and mostly 15 to 20% question comes from these topics. And lastly, right, green category, here low priority areas, or you can say lowest priority areas, right? Now, what should be your strategy? We have discussed the important chapters, list of important chapters, categories. So here, first reading, right? Build framework, and the total time that should be taken by you is between 7 to 12 hours, 7 to 12 days, right? So in total, try to finish the first reading of this book between 7 to 12 days, depending upon your speed of reading, right? That, but there should be a restricted time limit. You don't have unlimited time, right? Hardly 110 days are left for prelims. So try to finish this book, the first reading. If you are you have read it, then good. And if you are reading this book for the first time, then try to finish this book within 7 to 12 days, and spend hardly 2 to 3 hours. That is more than sufficient. And try to finish within 7 to 12 days. So here, read in the priority order as I have mentioned. Second, focus on bold headings, timelines, tables, lists, right? And already I have told you, Viceroy, Governor General, sessions of Congress, right? Important commissions, committees, newspapers, journals, right? Socio-religious movements, right? And other organizations, whether it is founded by extremists or moderates. So focus on those areas. Apart from that, read chapter and summary first, right? So you can start from the chapter, or you can read the summary, right? That is given at the end of each and every book, each and every chapter, right? So at the end of chapter, the summary is given. So you can start from the summary and read the whole chapter. Again, you can revise from the summary. That is the best criteria. Again, I am repeating. You can start from the summary that is given at the end of chapter, right? Read the chapter and again revise from the summary. It will help you to retain that topic for a longer time period, right? Again, don't underline everything. Yes, this is the worst strategy. Mostly aspirant, if they don't know, right, they underline the whole chapter. You have to highlight or underline only core areas that I have mentioned. Timelines, right? Organization, name of person, name of organization, name of the founder of organization, important journals, important events, important date, right? Second reading. So again, your second reading should be completed within 10 to 15 days. So first reading 7 to 12 days, second reading within 10 to 12 or 10 to 15 days. Simple. Next, so here again read in the same order that I have told you, right? And underline or highlight only PYQ repeated facts, right? As I said, that solve the PYQs, and after solving PYQs, you will find that there are certain key areas, and you can match those areas with the topics I have mentioned, right? And trust me, follow this strategy, and you will able to answer most of the questions from modern Indian history, right? Again, make very short margin notes, right? And avoid any kind of you can say grammatical correction, right? Don't worry about that. You are not going to sell your notes. You have to simply recall that, right? And what is the ideal ratio to make notes, right? It is 10 is to 1, right? 10 is to 1 means if you are studying 100 words, right, try to make notes within 10 words. This is the ideal ratio for making notes, right? Simple. Again, flashcards for tricky facts, and again solve previous year, at least 10 to 12 year previous year question papers, at least 10 to 12 year PYQs. Next and last, third and fourth reading, right? So here revision mode, fast and focused. So here I would suggest that revise from your own notes, not from the book. Quite clear? So only read the highlighted part plus your summaries or notes. And this should be your aim. 3 to 4 times full time revision. 3 to full time. And same thing is required for other topics also. At least revise each and every topic, whether it is history, geography, polity, economy, or current affairs. So try to revise all the topics 3 to 4 times at least, right? So in this video lecture, we have discussed the strategy about how to study spectrum book for modern Indian history. I hope this video lecture is helpful for you. Thank you.